Mike Freeman from the Bleacher Report. How you doing, Mike?
Rich, long-time admirer of yours, and I had my limerick ready for you.
You have my limerick ready. Oh, your limerick from the okay, what do you got for me? Isn't
it National Limerick Day?
Oh,
Did I have that wrong?
I did not know that.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes. National Limerick
What do you
Day.
got for me, Mike? You got something?
There was once a man named Rich. Talk smack, he'll put you in a ditch. He has the bling, so kiss his ring, and that's all I got.
And he'll make you his.
And I'll make it rain after losing in Game 6. Well, that doesn't rhyme.
That doesn't rhyme.
So now I read your latest on the Bleacher Report. Explain to me what you know about what NFL executives think of Colin Kaepernick and why he doesn't get a job in the NFL right now.
So from my reporting, and this goes back, I've been really keeping track of this story for months since it first happened, like a couple of us have been. And there's a lot of people in the league who don't like what he did and are concerned about bringing him on to their team and concerned about the backlash that would come with it. And they think him taking a knee was un-American, which I disagree with. I think it was very American. And they are very concerned about what would happen if they sign him. And there are owners that don't want to sign him either. So it's become quite a story. And in effect, Rich, he's like the last quarterback standing, the last free agent quarterback standing. They're all gone. Romo went to TV. Cutler went to TV. Blaine Gabbert got signed. So he's there and not getting signed. And to me, I'm approaching over 25 years of covering the league. I know you've been around the league a long time. I've never really seen anything like this. I'm normally a guy who's on, no offense to anybody, who's on a bad team that throws 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, was named by his peers on his team to one of the 49ers' most prestigious team awards as basically a good guy and a good player who played in the Super Bowl, came basically a play away from winning it against a good defense captained by Ray Lewis, who is, I think he's 29, if I got that right off the top of my head.
Yes.
Normally, guys like that get snapped up in the first wave of free agency. That's my experience, particularly a quarterback in a league that is so desperate for quarterbacks. They usually get signed quick. So something is clearly going on here, and this has become kind of what I wrote in the story today about how this has become almost sort of a left-right issue, almost like a political issue, where if you're on the left side of the fence, you kind of think he's being screwed, and if you're on the right side of the fence, you don't think he can play. It's become a real crazy story, and I think he will probably not be signed for a while.
Well, in that respect, Mike, let me represent Purple America, if it still exists in that respect, that Blaine Gabbert, I said this from this seat yesterday, that Gabbert being signed over Kaepernick, that if it is because Kaepernick took a knee, it's an outrage, okay? That Kaepernick deserves a shot because of his abilities that he still, one would think, possesses. That said, though, let me give you some of the responses I got on the football aspect of it, and one that I actually did give me pause. Let's say, because Gabbert did get signed by Arizona, isn't he more of a fit for an offense that is run by Carson Palmer? Should Carson Palmer go down? Isn't Kaepernick sort of, for the lack of a better phrase, Tebow-esque in the fact that he runs a style of offense that he needs to sign with a team that it would fit? Should the starting quarterback go down? Mike?
Rich, no, I think that's not an unfair point. I think that's a fair point. I think where I find fault with all of this is my understanding is, and it sounds like from what his girlfriend has been very active on Twitter this morning, saying how he has not gotten, contrary to what Harry Edwards has said, who was an advisor to Kaepernick, who said 3 teams have contacted Kaepernick. She maintains that no one has contacted him. No one, him or his agent. No team has contacted him. So what you're saying is, I think, is a very fair point. But the fact that he's not getting any communication at all is a really, to me, startling thing. And say it's true that it's 3 teams, only 3. There's a disconnect here from a fair point that you're making to where he's not getting any interest or 3 teams. But I think it's really, I believe her. There's no reason not to. She's a very credible person, and she's very close to him. Who says no one has contacted them. That's where you sort of lose me and people on my side of the fence. But that's not an unfair thing. Just why are teams just even picking up the phone to contact him? That's where things get lost.
Mike Freeman of Bleacher Report joining me here, and then there's this aspect of it too that I'm conflicted with, because again, this isn't like this is a gray area. Okay, some people think it's a red line, to use the phrase of the day, that he took a knee down. But as you said, un-American, it is not un-American. It's American that he has the right to do it. In other countries, he'd be thrown in jail and maybe never heard from again for doing something like that. In this country, you are not. There's a free speech aspect to this. That said, though, even I, who respects free speech, when I saw it for the first time, I'm like, what is the matter with this guy taking a knee on the flag? I mean, the flag, people fought and died for the right for him to be able to take the knee. I understand. But I understand what he was taking the flag for, and I heard him. And a lot of what he was talking about why he was taking a knee, needs to be heard, and I respect that. The question is, though, why would an NFL team bring him in not knowing next day they can go to after bringing him in and saying that there's a lot to be discussed based on what he's thinking, suddenly he takes a knee again. And now the issues are getting conflated, and all sorts of holy heck is breaking loose. Why would a team want to invite that in? And I throw that in your direction for your thoughts, Mike.
I would answer by saying he has said he won't do that. Now, could he change his mind, Rich? He absolutely could. And it will cause a lot of ruckus. But it sounds like he has sort of decided he's made his point, and he's moving on. And he's done his bit for Queen and Country, and he has decided, I'm just going to stick to some of the stuff he does off the field, which is really impressive, remarkable stuff.
True.
What he's doing off the field is so great and far better than I will ever do in my life, and most people will, to help society. It sounds like he's just going to stick to that. Believe what you will, but the way, Rich, one of the ways teams could sort of figure this out is by calling him. And they're not even calling him, or as agent, they're not talking to him to find out what he's thinking. And I think you hit on a big point. And you're bringing up really fair, smart points. And you hit on a big one, is that once you sort of listen to what he says, and you just put aside all your preconceived notions, and you really read and listen to what he says, it's sort of common sense and not crazy. He's doing smart stuff, and essentially just sticking up for social justice. And that shouldn't be a controversial position, but it's become one because sort of the state of our country right now.
Mike Freeman of Bleacher Report joining me here. So then give me fits. Give me teams that you think should have reached out to him from the football standpoint, or what executives are saying to you about what fits could be or could have been for Kaepernick, or might be.
They think he fits in a lot of different places. One place that keeps coming up is, why hasn't Seattle reached out to him? Like, that seems like a natural place for him to go, back up Russell Wilson. There's a couple other places that he does fit in. And I do – one of the things that Kaepernick will say and his camp will say is that he is far more malleable, his playing style, than people want to give him credit for. He can just drop back in the pocket if you want him to. He can do all of that. It's just that with the Niners, no offense to anybody in the Niners, but it was a really bad team that forced him to run a lot and do those kind of things. And that is sort of his specialty, but he is like Russell Wilson, who can just drop back in the pocket and throw if you need him to. That's what they will say. But that's another case, Rich, I think, where you bring him in, you work him out, you talk to him and see what you got, rather than just not contacting him.
And do you think, how do you think this plays out? Do you think he's on a roster first Thursday after Labor Day, Mike?
I think he will be, because, I don't mean to put it in a cruel way, but if there's a rash of injuries at the position, I think that's the way he gets in. If there's not, he may not play. And I've been saying this for a while, that we may have seen the last of him playing in the NFL last season, and it seemed crazy, and people called me crazy, but here we are. But if there's you know how it is, Rich, in this league, if there is a desperate need, teams will say, okay, let's do it. But if there's not that, he may not play again. That's a very possible thing, which would be sad to me.
All right, Mike, we'll all keep an eye on it and have you back in soon. Before I let you go, though, apropos of none of this, we talk a lot of pop culture here on this show, and my Chris Command Center that's across from me loves to make fun of the holes that I have in my pop culture viewing and landscape. One of my members of the Chris Command Center, Chris Law, has never in his life seen a single episode of Star Trek. Mike, not a single episode of Trek.
Well, I don't know why you would want to end a great conversation on a devastating note like that.
Sorry, Mike.
Sad. It's so sad. That's what happens when that doesn't happen. Then socialism creeps in, and America dies.
Understood. If
Rich, come on, Rich. You got to, during the break, just educate these people, man. Come on.
Mike, I am with you. As you know, I sign off with you with ultimate respect when I say to you, thanks for coming on the Rich Eisen Show. Live long and prosper.
May the force be with you.
No, Mike. Don't.
No.
He doesn't even like Star Wars either. He's just trolling on himself right over there. He doesn't like.
That's not from Star Trek?
No.
No, I know.
Wow.
No,
gosh.
Throw it up.
Rich, come on. Get him going.
I will. Thanks for coming on, Mike. We'll chat soon.
Okay, anytime, man. See you.
You got it. It's Mike Freeman of the Bleacher Report.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.
If you liked some of that, get some more of that on the Rich Eisen Show app. Follow all the information you see right here on the Rich Eisen Show.